103, 5 Lincoln 102, Lincoln 103 and 102.
Responding to 401 parking structure, section 1 boy.
Henry 8, Henry 9. Respond to gate 437 Bravo for your dignitary detail. 3K 911 unattended 400 lower level near carousel 4 black bag. GTA in progress 401 parking structure section 4 boy.
Responding to 401 parking structure, section 1 boy.
415 passenger onboard aircraft.
Control 2 Franklin en route.
484 suspect, female, Hispanic, 28 years of age, blue jeans, no further.
Control 5 Frank 401 is en route.
Want to welcome you to this edition of the Private Officer Beat Radio. I'm your host, Rick McCann, founder and CEO of Private Officer International, a private security and law enforcement association, as well as Armor College, a technical, vocational, and public safety school, and a number of other companies. We are all together here at the top of the hour on this, the 23rd day of February. Yep, another month gone. Where does time go? We have a lot to talk about, as always, and that's a phrase that I use almost every single week. I guess I need to find another phrase. Somebody want to recommend one? Send it to helpdesk@privateofficer.com. Well, we do have a lot to talk about. Obviously, the weather. Come on now. If you live in Texas, I'd love to hear from you. If you're a private security, public safety, school officer, law enforcement, send us an email, helpdesk@privateofficer.com. Helpdesk@privateofficer.com. I'd love to hear what's happening, how you're surviving, and if there's anything that we can do for you, we will definitely take care of that. Helpdesk@privateofficer.com. If you live in another storm-ravaged area where you've suffered through in the last week or so some significant storm conditions, please do send us pictures. I love to see your pictures, especially those of you on duty. Helpdesk@privateofficer.com. As we know, it's been a really crazy weather cycle, and we've read numerous articles, some stating that this is just how the weather cycles go. It's not really that historic. We've seen it before, and in fact, when I lived in Nashville, Tennessee, one year we had a blizzard, literally closed down the place. All of the metro area folks stuck up on the interstate, needed the National Guard to come and rescue them after being there for 8, 10, 12 hours. I am a history buff, weather buff. I've stayed on top of all of the twists and turns in the weather in recent years, and as horrific as some of the storms have been. And, you know, living where I do along the East Coast, as well as the Gulf Coast, and traveling routinely, and when I say routinely, every week, not so much now because of COVID, but on a normal year, I'll be out 150 days or more, kind of like, you know, somebody in the band. I kind of feel like I'm a trucker or a stagehand or a musician some years because I'm gone more than I am home. But the weather has definitely brought some surprises, and this time of year we just have to be prepared for it wherever you're at. even sometimes in areas where you don't get tornadoes or you don't get snowstorms, expect them and prepare for them. And as I've mentioned numerous times on the program and elsewhere, always have to-go bags, not only at home but in your vehicle. Make sure that you have, all-weather gear, boots, rain gear, shovels, some food. We talk about this pretty frequently, but it really is important. We've seen people really thrive, and not only survive, but thrive in Texas during this horrific weather because they are campers. They are outdoors people. They know how to start a fire. They know how to cook food over the fire. And I was reading one gentleman's blog yesterday, and he has pictures of him and his family having, food on the grill. They started campfires for their neighborhoods and cooked food, fish. They had catfish one day this past week, and vegetables and potatoes. Looked really delicious. It was making me hungry. But you have to be prepared, and you have to have certain skill sets. And unfortunately, a lot of us that live that metropolitan city life, we just don't have those skill sets anymore. And people just don't know how to survive in situations like this. And I have to disagree with many on social media saying that the government needs to come in and take care of these people and, bring everybody hot food and this, that, and the other thing. And they do. I mean, I've worked with many civil emergency groups, the civil defense, way back yonder when the civil defense was a thing. Now it's called emergency management. I've worked with the Red Cross, Salvation Army, and other civic groups that do bring food in whenever there's a disaster. They do bring in water. They do bring in supplies. But it really is not up to the government. It's not up to any entity. We're supposed to be ready. We're supposed to be prepared. Just because the government, in some places takes care of everyone's health care and they give them free money and free education, that's really not the way of life worldwide. That's just not how life goes. The government has no responsibility, and I know there's going to be many that disagree with me, and that's okay. But the government has no responsibility to you to take care of you. But they do have a responsibility to provide as much as they can in emergency relief, and I believe that they do a decent job. I've been out and been part of many disasters, hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, fires, so forth, and so on. I hope that you are doing well wherever you are, that you are doing more than just getting along or surviving. And I know that in many areas the temperatures are beginning to warm up. And right now in the South, I don't know if you've heard or not, but besides very cold weather, by the way, I'm broadcasting live from the Gulf Coast, from Gulfport, Mississippi, along the Gulf Coast, where the temperatures are a little bit warmer, but just a number of days ago, temperatures dipped down to 15 degrees overnight and a wind chill of around 8 or 9. Very cold, but not uncommon along the Gulf Coast. I'm down here with our new school in Gulfport, Mississippi, but it has been cold. But as I was saying, many areas, while some are dealing with ice and snow and cold temperatures, other areas along the Atlantic and here along the coast and in my current home state of North Carolina was dealing just a few days ago with tornadoes. Tornadoes, devastating tornadoes hit parts of Georgia and North Carolina and several other states. I know that there's a number of deaths. I believe it's somewhere around 10 or 12. Many injured, a lot of devastation. We are moving into that tornado season. Tornado season starts in just a few days. And along the Gulf Coast, out in the Midwest, even the Atlantic coast, tornadoes are really serious, and they cause a lot of damage, injuries, and deaths. When we come back from this first break, we want to talk a little bit more about the weather and what to expect and how we need to prepare. But I also want to talk about other things coming up here. We're going to be talking about something very unique. Armour College is presenting a Citizens Police Academy, the first ever. And also, we'll be talking about the Command College. You've heard something about that here in recent weeks. We're going to tell you more about that, as well as several opportunities for you to get involved, to assist in training, how you can be a business owner. And today, we're going to be talking about technology. Coming right back here on the Private Officer Beat Radio.
When I was a gang leader, we probably did business together, because when people like you buy knockoffs on the street, often the money goes to gangs, and gangs use this easy money for other activities. In other words, they're getting a lot of bang for their buck.
Counterfeits hurt, but you have the power to stop them. Go to www.ncpc.org/getreal. A message from the National Crime Prevention Council and the Bureau of Justice Assistance, U.S. Department of Justice.
The Federal Aviation Administration wants you to fly your drone responsibly. Avoid flying your drone near other aircraft, especially near airports. Fly your drone below 400 feet. Always keep your drone in sight. If you see a safety issue involving drones, contact local law enforcement immediately. Fly smart. Fly safe. Have fun.
Welcome back to the Private Officer Beat Radio. Last year, tornadoes killed 3 security officers, 2 with buildings collapsing down on them, and another was killed when a tree fell onto his vehicle. The year before that, at least 5 security officers were killed in weather-related on-duty accidents, including several security officers drowned during a hurricane. A security officer in Mobile, Alabama was protecting the port, and he was blown into the Mobile Bay during a storm and drowned. So if you don't think that we need to be prepared, that we need to have some type of survival training, that we need to be good swimmers, that we need to be alert during potential severe weather, storms, you're mistaken if you don't think all of this is important for private security and others who work in public safety and who have to deal with the weather all the time. It is important that we have weather radios, or now with everyone having a cell phone, a weather app, an alert that's going to identify what the weather is, when there's storm alerts, the difference. And I still can't believe sometimes the people that don't know the difference between a watch and a warning, but that is an important aspect of information that you need to know. What is a watch? What is a warning? You know, too many people think, you know, it's never going to happen to me. It's not going to happen here. It's just a little storm coming through, a little rain. Hey, you see those clouds? That's just a springtime shower. Many places still have those old sirens. Many others have gotten away from them. They've done away with them. You remember the air raids, and now we really need to depend on weather radios, not only at home, but at your place of employment, on your cell phone, as well as having some type of network where you communicate that information. And if you're a supervisor, a manager, owner of a company, you need to communicate that to all of your employees. Don't leave it to them to recognize and know and be alert to a severe weather situation. You need to alert them yourself. Take it upon yourself. It is part of your responsibility to protect your employees. It actually falls under OSHA and a number of other state and federal laws. So anyways, the weather is problematic for our industry, and we're not over it yet. We're just moving into a new season with a new type of severe weather. So much that we really do need to get to, and we want to talk for a moment here about our upcoming Command College, a 24-week program in association with the Sheriff's Association and another school, another college. We're finishing up the curriculum. The Command College will be for private law enforcement supervisors and chiefs, private security supervisors and owners, field supervisors, and frontline supervisors. It is a 24-week program. It will be very significant, and it will be, and I'm going to put this out there right now because I don't want people to misunderstand. This is going to be a lot of homework, time-consuming. It's going to be really up to you to put forth the dedication and the time and the effort that it's going to take. Just recently, we had a course for supervisors, and several people dropped out because they said it was too time-consuming. They said it was too labor-intense. They had a lot of homework, and they had a lot of research, and it wasn't what they expected, and unfortunately, they did drop out. Maybe one day when they have more time, they'll retake it. I don't know. But just be aware, this is not a fill out the blank, print the certificate, and let's go on with life course. This is actually going to take a lot of effort on your part, but it's going to be very rewarding as well. We will be coming out with the full curriculum for you in the upcoming weeks. Be sure that you check with our friends at Body Armor USA. We've got what it takes to protect you. There's not even a doubt in my mind. We've got it. You need it, we got it. Slash resistant vest, protective clothing, body armor. If you're a corrections officer, a security officer, law enforcement, you need the best equipment out there. And Body Armor USA, we've got it. We've got what it takes to protect you. Body Armor USA. Also this week, I mentioned briefly in the intro about the new Armor College Citizens Police Academy, and I am really stoked, as they say, happy, elated, jumping up and down. You just can't see me. Picture it. No, never mind. Don't picture it. It's not that pretty. I am really. I was thinking about this a number of months ago, actually before the holiday season, and I've been part of the Citizens Police Academy. One of my very good friends has actually gone through the FBI Citizens Academy. Another friend of mine has gone through several different Citizen Police Academies, and I thought, well, I know things are different with COVID, with unable to really get out there physically. I know that it's really going to, shake things up and maybe hamper things a little bit, but I still think that we can do this. So I thought, why not do our first Armour College Citizens Police Academy? We got a police department. We've got professional instructors. We're a college. Not only one location, but we have locations in a number of states, and we've got instructors who are law enforcement or who are retired law enforcement. So, of course, I got right to work on that last month, and without hesitation, and I am happy. I knew that this was going to be the case, but without hesitation, every current law enforcement officer with specialty areas that I asked to be part of this said, sure, what do you want me to do? How will it work? What's the format? And so we're going to have a sheriff from the state of Virginia, a federal agent with the U.S. Homeland Security is going to be teaching as well. We have a retired DEA agent. We have a state trooper who teaches at the academy in Alabama, and we have a deputy in Mississippi who teaches at the academy, and they are all excited to be part of this. And of course, I'll be teaching one or two subjects myself, and the way that it's going to work, everything of course is going to be virtual, and you're going to get it in a video audio format, and you'll have a little bit of homework. There's a couple of missing components to a normal Citizens Police Academy, and we're trying to work that out, and that is you won't have any opportunities to ride with a police officer, as is the case in many areas. You can do a ride along, and you will not be going to the range, although we do have a online simulator, and I think we're going to be using that, so you will have some range experience, as well as talking about use of force and weapons and even self-protection. And we'll be talking, of course, about all those other topics that they teach at the police academy: use of force, communication, de-escalation. We've added mental health response. We'll be talking about police recruitment, training, everything that you can expect in any Citizens Academy, and a whole lot more. We will be sending out emails on this. It's going to begin April the 3rd, I believe, that we agreed on, but I will definitely double check that for you. This is going to be quite a unique thing, and you'll be able to say that you graduated from a Citizens Police Academy, and you will also receive not only a certificate, but you'll receive a presentation plaque and a little something more, which we're going to hold off telling you until we announce the registration date. But you're going to want to be part of this, and guess what? It's free. It doesn't cost anything at all. And while some police agencies are funded to hold these Citizens Police Academies, we are not funded. So if you do want to donate, just go to our website at privateofficer.org and click on the benevolent page, put your donation there, and just earmark it for the Citizens Police Academy. We're going to take a quick break. Got so much more. So much more to talk about. We're coming right back. You are listening to the Private Officer Beat Radio.
For some children, America isn't the land of promise. It's a place where every day is a struggle. Because today in America, 1 in 6 children lives below the poverty line. For these children, living in poverty means going without medicine, going without food, going without a warm home, or even a roof over your head. And that's life for nearly 13 million children of all races, all across America. Where will you draw the line and get involved? You can help these children and their families find a way out of poverty for good. And you can make a difference in more ways than you think. Will you help? Go to povertyusa.org today, because 1 in 6 children in poverty is one too many. A message from the Catholic Campaign for Human Development.
27, I've got both the victim and the suspect here. 10-4, be advised, Mary Queen 27 associates with the suspect and the victim. Just west.
What am I doing lying in this casket? Oh yeah, that's right. I'm dead. I got shot. I'm not supposed to be dead. I'm only 17. And now I can't see my 18th birthday because I'm a fatal victim of gun violence. My friends, my family, my own mother was devastated. Can't see her son anymore because of gun violence. And everyone's here at the funeral. But before they lay me to rest, there's just one last thing I have to do. How many more of us have to die from gun violence? Let's put a stop to this, because if we don't, the next time it could be your child lying in this casket.
Brought to you by Men Up Inc. USA, a proud member of the Gun Violence Awareness Movement.
Welcome back to the Private Officer Beat Radio. Last year, tornadoes killed 3. We announced and have been talking about the Public Safety Security Institute, our think tank, that we've announced about a month ago now, and it's going well. But I want to put this information out to you so that you have the opportunity to be engaged and involved as well. If you don't want to be on the board or you don't want to be a member of the task force, that's fine. But if you would like to submit your whatever, your theories, your advice, your comments, your studies that you've been involved in, or anything else, send it all to helpdesk@privateofficer.com, helpdesk@privateofficer.com. We would really appreciate it. We'll definitely give you credit for anything that you send to us. While I'm talking about the help desk, that is the point of contact, POC, for anything related to any of the companies that we own and operate, including Armor College. If you have a question about anything, contact us at helpdesk@privateofficer.com. Be sure that if you're a supervisor, company owner, a chief, be sure that you contact us with your officer promotions, any awards that have been given out. We were contacted this week about several different awards, and we'll be announcing those in our blog. But be sure to send us any updates, anything that you would like for our listeners, our members to know, and we will definitely get that out to you. We want you to be engaged. We want you to know what's happening, participate. One of the great things that you can do absolutely free, even if you're not a member, is go to our daily blog, privateofficerbreakingnews.blogspot.com. privateofficerbreakingnews.blogspot.com. You can also visit us at Facebook/Private Officer International, Twitter/Private Officer, and we're also on a number of other social media platforms, including Instagram and Pinterest, where we post a lot of pictures, and others. Just go to our website. We have all that information listed at privateofficer.org. If you want to take some training, but you just don't got a lot of jingle in your pocket, now is the time. Go to Armour, ARMOUR College, ARMOURcollege.org. 3 courses for $199. That's right, 3 courses. You can take them all together. You can take them one at a time. You can take them whenever you want. You can even give 1, 2, or all of them away to a friend, a coworker, or whoever. Armour College, ARMOURcollege.org. Sign up today. There's only a few days left of this terrific, unbelievable deal. If you don't sign up now, you're going to lose out. ArmourCollege.org. This week we're going to be talking about technology, and of course that's going to include drones, robots, high-tech surveillance. Oh, you name it, it includes it. How is that really part of security? So many people are still in the dark ages. They think of a guard with a D-Tex clock making that round, keying in, click, 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 click. No, those days are gone, my friend. They don't even do that type of round anymore. They don't do that type of patrol anymore. So this time, we really need to be on the cutting edge. In this day and age, everything is moving so fast, so much to secure. It's not like the old days, warehouses and factories. Nah. We have large, expansive properties, communities. We have huge shopping centers, malls that are bigger than some cities, some towns. We have a lot of assets, people, and of course with crime, violent crime, spiking, property crime, out of control. We have a lot of gangs, a lot of drugs, and I don't care what your local politician is telling you. It's getting pretty bad out there, and that's just the fact of the matter. So technology is something that's very, very ever-growing importance to private security. We'll be talking about that coming up here in just a few minutes. Of course, we've got a lot of breaking news as well. And when we come back, well, let me just tell you this part here. This past week, we have word that a private security officer who got the COVID shot died 18 days later. We don't know if it just didn't agree with the system, if there was some other medical problem, or if it was a natural cause, or if it was something in the chemical of the vaccine. As a paramedic, I try to tell people that vaccines are nothing like a guarantee. They're nothing like this is the end-all, be-all. Vaccines are, and even still today, all of the vaccines that we use yearly are still being studied. They can always be better. Vaccines are not foolproof. Vaccines are not a guarantee that you won't get sick. Look at all the people that take the flu vaccine and they still get the flu. So that was sad information. We also got information that a security officer in Arizona was at a medical center. He was controlling the parking, the vehicles coming in and out, the people. He was really just controlling the whole venue. And unfortunately, it sounds like an elderly couple accidentally hit the gas. They plowed over a sidewalk and through some type of railing onto an area where a security officer was standing or sitting, and they hit him. All three have been hospitalized. They are not in serious or critical condition. Everyone is expected to recover. Just one of those sad, tragic things. Security officers are injured hundreds of times a day, thousands of times a week. We just don't hear about it. It does not make the news. It's not that it's not important. It is. It just doesn't make the hierarchy of local news in your community or my community either. What does make the news is when something is racial, when something is considered to be excessive force, when someone seems to have screwed up, that makes the news. And that's the life, that's the environment that we live in now, and it's tragic, and it needs to change. POI spends a lot of hours every week trying to put out all of the news involving security and public safety, loss prevention, private police, and law enforcement. We try to put out the good, and unfortunately, there's a lot of bad. People frequently question, why can't you put out some good news? We are trying. If you know of any good news, send it to helpdesk@privateofficer.com. Helpdesk@privateofficer.com. We would love to get that news out there. We're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about technology, of course, and we're also going to talk about what's in the news this week. We'll be right back.
A crisis, everybody. Now, most of you have seen me wearing my signature mask on a plane. I love wearing it when I fly. I tend to get my own row 99% of the time. It's simple. Just wear the mask and cough. Because who wants to sit next to this guy? I don't blame you. And I went from being the only one on a plane wearing a mask to now everybody is doing it. Out in public, the park, at the mall, at the post office, with their girlfriend, with their husband, with their husband's girlfriend. We need to help our doctors, our nurses, and our healthcare workers who are fighting COVID-19 head on. And we need to make sure they don't acquire the virus. These frontliners have been running out of personal protective equipment, PPE. People have asked me, Kayvon, are you down with PPE? Are you down with PPE? Are you down with PPE? I'm like, yeah, you know me. Yeah, you know me. The CDC has been forced to downgrade the need for N95 masks to surgical masks, now down to bandanas because of a lack of supplies. Does this seem like a good idea to you? Hi, I'm your doctor. I'm also here to rob your bank. Bandanas? Scarves? What kind of PPE is that? One more. This is one of the easiest ways you can be a hero. So if you're a healthcare provider in need, or if you have supplies you can donate, there are a lot of groups leading the effort. Start with the PPE Coalition. They're a great resource and they can get you pointed in the right direction. So there you have it. Be a hero, make a donation, and help a frontline healthcare professional. After all, their health right now is in your hands. And while you're at it, wash those too. Because if you don't, you're disgusting. Yeah, you know me. Yeah, you know me.
If you're not already receiving breaking news and our bi-weekly newsletter, Officer Down reports, and discount training news in your personal or business email, then go to our website right now at privateofficer.org. Privateofficer.org. A Dropbox will come down. Just fill out your info, and you'll be the first, one of the first, for sure, to know about what's happening in the security industry. You'll know when a security officer is killed. You'll also get these great discounts on training and equipment and so much more. Privateofficer.org. And if you're not already a member of the Private Officer International Association, sign up while you're there today. Become a lifetime member for just $99, and we'll also include a free Private Officer International patch and lapel pin. If you All right, we are over here at the news desk today. A lot of news, of course, and you can see it yourself in our daily news blog, updated fresh every single day. Just go to Private Officer Breaking News at blogspot.com to see all of the latest industry-wide public safety, security, and law enforcement news. That's privateofficerbreakingnews.blogspot.com. We're going to share a couple of things with you. Of course, you can go there right now and read it for yourself, but we're going to share a few things that's making the headlines, and that's TSA is hiring over 6,000 transportation security officers. TSOs are the critical front line defense in securing our nation's commercial air transportation system. the Executive Assistant Administrator for TSA Security Operations, said they are a little low on TSOs, and therefore they are having a nationwide massive hiring. If you want to learn more about that, go to their website at TSA. Positions available throughout the country. We told you about the security officer that was hit after a vehicle jumped the curb, hit a railing, and smashed into the security officer working at a COVID-19 vaccine line. He's going to be okay. 3 people taken to the hospital in that situation. Coming out of St. Louis, Missouri right now, something that we have talked about previously in our news, on our blogs, and elsewhere, another city municipality, another state, looking to hire private security, unarmed security, for their correctional facilities. In North Carolina, the State Corrections Department did that very thing last year when they were extremely low on correction officers, and Georgia tried it. And now St. Louis wants to move $2 million over into the Private Security Supplemental Force Fund to hire private security companies with little to no training to beef up their correction staff. Don't know how this is going to work out. Didn't work out too well in the other states that have tried it, but we're going to, of course, stay on top of this, and we will let you know further as we get more and more information. Another situation coming out of Fresno, California, a security officer in a marked private security car hit a subject, a pedestrian. It's a near-fatal pedestrian accident. It may even be a fatal by now. Investigators say the security officer was driving the car and called police 911 about the accident at around 12:30 in the morning on Bel Air Way in Fresno. The victim was rushed to the Community Regional Medical Center in extremely critical condition. Fresno PD has not announced any charges. They said that the security patrol vehicle did have surveillance camera, and they are looking into that to kind of figure out what happened. Like I said, they said that this was a near-fatal accident, and it could even be a fatal accident by now. In Hawaii, the Hawaii Security and Safety Professionals Association announced the Officer of the Quarter. This is an award that they bestow on both private security and law enforcement. This time it was to the Hawaii Police Department Officer Adam Roberg for being involved in 3 different incidents where he assisted in the recovery of stolen property. He also was identified victims and suspects in identity theft and worked some narcotic cases, and they gave that officer that award for being outstanding officer. In Virginia this past week, lawmakers, they were all set to try and pass this bill that would require police officers to render aid and to report when other police officers did something wrong. Now, some states already have put these new requirements into place. They're already laws, and Virginia thought that House Bill 1948 was going to make it, but it didn't. It did not pass, and so therefore they will try again, I'm sure. Police officers say that this was unfair to them. They are not paramedics or EMTs. They don't know anything about rendering first aid. Some have very limited first aid or CPR skills taught way back when they were at the academy. And so that's why that part of it did not pass. Police Chiefs Association said that it's really not on another officer to report his fellow officer for something that's wrong. It's up to the supervisors. And for whatever reason, this didn't go forward, but I'm sure that it will in the future. Talking about TSA, a TSA security officer helped a family to get to Maine after a travel agent mistakenly booked them on a flight 3,000 miles in the wrong direction. The Spanish-speaking passengers spent an entire night at the Portland International Airport, confused and disheartened. Security officer at TSA, Officer Martin Rios, was able to talk with them, and he was able to get them turned around and sent to Portland, Maine, their destination of choice. So kudos to him. At the Ford City Mall, that's there in Chicago, Illinois, a Foot Locker employee is in critical condition after a shooting. They say that there was a verbal argument with the 22-year-old man inside the Foot Locker when the subject pulled the gun, shooting the employee multiple times. He is in serious condition. We're seeing violence at the mall go up while shoppers and customers are going down. It seems like more people are hanging out at the mall for someplace to go and something to do. This past week, we were talking quite a bit about electronic vehicles with some of our POI members and a law enforcement agency, and it just so happened that a news article popped up about that very thing. Bargersville Police Department in Indiana recently switched their entire fleet to electronic cars. They say that it's a creative cost-cutting move for them to be able to buy these cars and not have to worry about fuel, maintenance, and all that other stuff that, comes along with a regular two-wheel or four-wheel drive vehicle. They say that they don't push the cars. They do use them like any other police department. But for them, so far, things are working out quite well. I know a security company in L.A., California, who is also looking at doing the same thing, and he's pointed out the very same things that this police agency has pointed out. A shooting in the Bronx, Mount Hope, the Bronx, New York. A security officer shot during a robbery of a BP gas station. Do not believe that the security officer was armed, but the suspects pulled out guns as they approached the security officer and shot him. The 48-year-old security officer is in good condition. Police have not made any arrests in that situation. Coming out of our state here, North Carolina, Appalachian State University, which is part of the UNC University of North Carolina school system, college system, is raising the fee that they charge each student for security. Students are none too happy about this, although police say that it goes for campus police, telecommunicator salaries, investigators, safety, training, and a whole lot of other things that many people may not be aware of. The federal law allows schools to charge a security fee per student, so there's really not a whole lot that they can do about this. One more thing I want to point out this week in the news, in Jackson, Mississippi, they have become one of a number of other cities who have passed an ordinance about convenience stores having armed security. A law just passed this past week on Wednesday says that any 24-hour convenience store must have security personnel in place between the hours of midnight and 5 to protect customers and employees. Other locations have also put this into play over the years, and from what I understand, things are okay. I understand, the need. I understand how it's going to protect, but to be honest with you, I just don't know if they decide to put unarmed security in those stores, how this is going to help at all. You're listening to the Private Officer Beat Radio. Remember, go to our daily news blog at privateofficerbreakingnews.blogspot.com and get our daily news right there, fresh every single day. You can also sign up for breaking news alerts, officer down reports, and a whole lot more just by going to our website, privateofficer.org, privateofficer.org. And remember, right now, just for another day and a half, you can get 3 online courses for just $199. You can take them all one time. You can take them one after the other. You can give them away. You can do whatever you want to do with them, except sell them. You cannot sell them. Go to our website, Armour, ARMOUR, college.org. and sign up for those courses. It's a sweet deal, and you won't find that anyplace again. We'll be right back.
Human trafficking is slavery.
And it happens all over America.
Any child, any woman, any man could potentially become a victim of human trafficking.
I am a victim of labor trafficking.
I was victim of child sex trafficking, but now I own my body.
Human trafficking is any kind of forced labor.
It can happen to anybody.
I am a mother.
I am an author.
I am a son.
I'm an advocate.
I am an educator.
I'm a sister.
I am a brother.
I'm so much more than what happened to me.
I am strong.
I am brave.
I am outspoken.
I am compassionate.
I am a survivor.
I'm a survivor.
I am a survivor.
I am a survivor.
I am a survivor.
I am a survivor of human trafficking.
When I was a gang leader, we probably did business together. Because when people like you buy knockoffs on the street, often the money goes to gangs. And gangs use this easy money for other activities. In other words, they're getting a lot of bang for their buck.
Counterfeits hurt, but you have the power to stop them. Go to www.ncpc.org/getreal. A message from the National Crime Prevention Council and the Bureau of Justice Assistance, U.S. Department of Justice.
10 years ago, almost to the day, I did a radio segment, a two-parter, on the subject of technology is your friend. And I went back to listen to that yesterday. And back then I was talking about BlackBerries and some folks having some new iPhone gadget phone and camcorders and some other technology items. And how you can put them to use in your everyday security patrols, patrols of schools, even in law enforcement. Of course, things have changed rapidly during those 10 years. Lots of changes. Everybody has an iPhone or an Android. Back then, not all the phones had cameras, video, or audio, but they all do now. And so I wanted to do a follow-up and talk more about technology and how it is changing the private security and law enforcement field. I'm not going to talk about BlackBerries. We're not going to go into the past, but we are very much going to be talking about now and the future. So, speed forward 10 years, we know that our cell phones are a huge part of our life. And, of course, a huge part of our duty belt. Many people use cell phones to take photos and video of evidence, to record audio during investigations, and I would ask that you go back to that first audio radio show 10 years ago. We might even include it in here in the part 2. But a lot of the information is still valid. You can use your iPhone, your Android, cell phone technology to record your foot or mobile patrols, to record persons that you're talking to during an investigation, and of course to authenticate and to document incidents, suspicious persons, actions with your video or camera. One of the things that we've seen over the last 3 or 4 years is the increase of technology for the private security industry to include drones and robots. So I'm going to kind of spend a few minutes talking about the advantages of using those tools. Let's start with the robot. Nightscope, and other companies have developed robots for patrol. And now you can see them in hospitals, casinos, parking garages, malls, schools, and even patrolling
local communities. Of course, they are force multipliers. Many companies use them for the obvious advantage of not having to pay a security officer to be there, not have to worry about whether or not that security officer will show up for work, whether or not that person's going to fall asleep on the job, not have to worry about them taking a break, not having to worry about having to pay their insurance, their Social Security, any other benefit that a security officer might be qualified to have. So they use robots as a force multiplier. It's good and bad. First of all, we know that the robot in and of itself cannot patrol all alone, although it's highly technical these days and has a lot of different onboard resources and technology. You still need someone on the other end monitoring the cameras and being able to remotely watch and see what's happening, report things to law enforcement, as well as operate the robot himself. Yes, they are programmed to go certain areas, but you still need someone who's going to control that robot. They're not 100% self-reliant. Robots are good if you're going to use them in conjunction with other security components, including humans. So if you have a large area to patrol, but you only have one security officer on duty, a robot might be the thing to put in place. We've talked about time and time again officer safety. Maybe, just maybe, this robot is an advantage to a single officer post, that he might be able to deploy this robot and cover more area. Robots are being used with security teams for events to cover large areas, small areas, and unfortunately it has in some cases caused a reduction of a security force. It has caused security personnel to be laid off. Technology, just like when they brought robots into the factories, it will eliminate many positions, but those with technical skills, those that know technology, those who have robotic skills, they're going to be hired and paid at a higher amount than your normal hourly security officer might be. Robots are being used more and more, and we have to accept that and use it to our advantage. Some security companies have partnered with the manufacturers of robots to put them in their security contracts as a force multiplier. The other area, drones. Just recently I saw a security company and their officer deploy a drone to catch a burglar who had fled the scene of a jewelry store burglary, and he was able to pull out his drone from his vehicle and follow the suspect, relay the information to police, and they captured him. Drones are used for a lot of outdoor events, sporting events, concerts, festivals, places that you have a large capacity of folks, things happening, and it's just too large of an area to cover even with a small police force. You got to have some other eyes in the sky, some other assets to use, and so many security companies have taken to the drone to patrol large areas and to be able to know what's happening, and again, another force multiplier. I myself have begun using drones, and I have a new position, which I'll be talking about that in the upcoming weeks, but I will be using drones at that location as well to help us to keep an eye on a large area that we just don't have the manpower to cover. Drones are also being used internally in buildings to patrol. I saw a video where this small drone, it looked like a flying saucer, was patrolling from office to office, floor to floor, and being monitored by a security agent. Again, if you know robotics, if you are a certified drone operator, again, these are higher paying jobs than your ordinary security personnel. You can put these drones into play in many different places. If you are a security contractor, you may have an advantage over even a larger company who may not have drone certification, equipment, the know-how, the technology. You may win that contract, and it may be a viable contract that may last for years. Technology is not really going away. We have to accept that technology is going to be here, whether that be a robot or a drone or some other magical flying saucer or flying carpet. It just is what it is. And as a business owner, I have come to realize through the years that as we develop as a country, as we develop with our technology, it wasn't that long ago when cell phones weighed, 5 pounds. It wasn't that long ago when I didn't have a computer. I didn't have a cell phone where I could manage all my data or send out emails. In fact, there was no emails not that long ago. Technology is moving at the speed of light, and we have to accept it, use it to our advantage. Some security companies I've read recently have put their employees, a number of employees, through certification, FAA certification, so that they can legally fly outside in various weather conditions and so forth. And that's what you're going to see. You're going to see more and more security companies who have specialized agents and officers of the company who can operate drones, that can operate robotics, that can combine physical security and electronic security and new age technology to provide an overall more sound, more secure security system for the client. And I believe that there's a lot more research happening with other security-related tools. I believe that if we don't catch up with the times, we'll be closed. We'll be out of business because, the large companies, they already have the technology. They already have applied it in many different areas. Now it's up to us to play catch-up. And if I was in a situation where I was competing against my neighboring security companies for contracts, I definitely would have specialized individuals. I recently was talking with someone about opening a command center. Many companies have them 24 hours a day in operation. Besides having a dispatch center, a true command center also has GPS mapping, coordinates the movement of all their personnel in real time. You know where everyone is, what everyone's doing. You can see through surveillance equipment what's happening at your customer's location. If there's a robbery, a burglary, a fire, all of this is coordinated through your real-time center. Put all the technology pieces together along with your real-time operation emergency dispatch center, and you're going to have really a service that not only is going to be something a few people will want, but something that many customers will want. If you're really interested in hearing what happened 10 years ago, go back and listen. About 10 years ago, technology is your friend. Remember, you can get our radio shows, not podcasts, radio shows, any place that you download music or podcast. Be sure to listen to it on the iHeart Radio Network and wherever music is sold, and of course, right here at Blog Talk Radio. That's going to conclude this episode of the Private Oscar Beat Radio. Thanks for being with us, and we will see you again right here on the radio. Until then, though, be blessed, be safe, and we'll see you right back here on the radio.